I cannot believe that it's November and that it is almost Thanksgiving. Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's all running right after it. But we're here and we've got this. And so, how we're going to have a happy Thanksgiving this year is we're going to go prep mode. Who am I? I'm Jacqueline, and this is Homeschool Hangout.xyz, where I, a veteran homeschooler of 19 years, I'm in my 19th year of homeschooling, makes videos and with tips and tricks and ways for you to homeschool and parent with calmness and clarity, and enjoy yourself along the way. If you're looking for a way to support this channel, there is an Amazon storefront link down below, and it will pop you over to Amazon, and anything you buy at Amazon, prices won't be affected, but it will help come support this channel. Also, you can buy me a coffee, and over at Buy Me a Coffee is also where I have like my transcript template, my report card template, and a bunch of other things. Hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, I'm Nerd Mom on Twitter, all the things. Let's get into it. Okay, so first off, this is a collab that's all things Thanksgiving with other homeschoolers, and it's being hosted by CJ at Homeschooling Through High School and Stephanie from Schultz's Sweeties. Link to the playlist with everybody's videos down below, but don't go yet. We've got some talking to do. Okay, so let's jump into it. I love the holidays, and I kind of had stinky ones as a kid, so I always really wanted to have a great holiday experience for my family. And my husband, wonderful mom, wonderful parents, she worked full time, and he was the baby of 7. And his goal is for me to spend time with the family on the holidays and not just be in the kitchen, and no one be stuck in the kitchen. So my Thanksgivings are planned with that in mind. And we're going to go through and do a couple different things. So first off, we're going to be real with ourselves about, we're going to understand that there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can and should do. You don't need to do everything possible. You don't need to have 30 dishes for 10 people. You don't need to. Now, if you can and you want to, that's fine. But don't put that pressure on yourself, because anyone who would judge you for that is somebody who might already have problems with you, and this won't fix them. So just breathe. Okay. So first we're going to look at our house. And when I say that, my house is very lived in. So if you come visit me, do not expect a spit and polish situation here. But before I have a big holiday or a big event, I have a house task list. I want you to sit down and dump out every single thing that you want to have done in your house before people come for this holiday. Now, I'll be honest, my Thanksgiving is usually just my family, and we open up the house if anybody wants to join us. But we usually, we don't watch sports on Thanksgiving, so, all that. But it's pretty chill. But if you need to make up your guest room, what does that mean? Don't just say make up the guest room. Do you need fresh linens? Do you just want to fluff the linens because they're clean, but they're not as airy as they could be? I don't know. For me right now, I have a big box with a fan in the middle of my guest room to be installed. Does something need to get installed? Do you want to make sure your baseboards get cleaned? For me, I have white interior doors in my house. And so before we have big events, one of the things on my list is I want the door around the door handle cleaned. I know it sounds silly. I want to make sure that my entryway is freshened up. Just a good sweep or whatever. Nothing too fancy, but we have exposed rafters in the top so you can see spider webs and stuff that don't really bother me, but it gets dusty, especially when it gets windy around here. Whatever that is, make the whole list. Then sit down at that list with your partner and maybe older children if you have them, and say what's reasonable on this list. Sometimes my husband will look at it and go, crazy lady, you wanted to hand weave a whole new tablecloth? No, I never wanted to do that. But you know what I mean. Something that's overly ornate. You need to listen to your family when they go, I don't need that. I don't need it. Why are you doing it? Think about it. Once that list is filled out, start assigning chores. Now, on that list, some of those things can get done right now. Some of those things need to get done the day before or the week of. And write that on your list of when they need to get done. And start handing those out to everybody. Now, one of the things about this, if you're like me, I have 2 lists like this that I always have. I keep them on Google, and I share them among the family as we come up to a holiday. Why 2? Well, I have a winter party list, and I have a summer party list. So if we're having something in the backyard, if we're having everybody out there most of the time, things are a little different. So that's kind of the difference. But I do these lists and I review them at this point and figure out what else I want added to it. Okay, so now we've made our list, and that sounds daunting, but seriously, set a timer for 15 minutes, write down everything you can think, and just take a deep breath. Okay, then we're going to get into, I never know how to put this, realism, okay? I only make my turkey on Thanksgiving, and I heat up everything else. But you need to look at what your resources are and what you could actually do at a time before we start making our meal plan. Why? I have 2 ovens. I'm very blessed, but I haven't always had that. You need to make sure that you can cook and heat whatever you need to cook and heat. My turkey's in there, and then my turkey rests for about a half hour before I start to cut it. So if I only had 1 oven, it would be the time to cook the turkey, and then what needs to be in that oven for that last half hour. What can be, which leads us to what can be made ahead of time. Now we're going to look at our food prep list. Okay, we're going to make our menu. On that menu, I'm going to have cranberry sauce. I'm going to have me some mashed potatoes. I'm going to have me some rolls. I'm going to have pie, probably 2 pies. I'm going to have some different things like that. But as I said, I only make turkey on Thanksgiving. What do? Cranberry sauce. One, if you've never made homemade cranberry sauce, you got to. You got to. It's great. Now, I make my cranberry sauce, and when I make it once, and I make enough for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for Easter, for my kids' Friendsgivings. My kids have 2 Friendsgivings that I can think of right now. And so I make a lot of cranberry sauce because here's the secret. You can freeze it. So this can be done way ahead of time. And what I do is you put your cranberries in, wash them, check them, make sure they're good. Put your cranberries into your sauce pot, and you're basically going to turn them on and heat them up until they start popping. But in that, you're going to put a generous amount of honey or brown sugar. And yes, sweeten it up. Nobody likes it too tart, even though it feels wrong to be putting that much sugar into something you serve with dinner. I also put apples and orange supremes and orange juice in mine. A little cinnamon, salt. Seriously, you just dump it all in and you let it pop away and bubble away. Seriously, I understand the witch's imagery of over the cauldron because that's what this is. And then you just portion it into, I do 2 cups, 2-cup bags is what I do, and freeze them flat, and then just stack them in my freezer. That's it. You do that long ahead of time. Mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are a must for me on Thanksgiving, and none of this powdered potato junk either. I want real mashed potatoes with cream and yumminess and all the things. So I get the big bag from Costco. Maybe this year we'll do 2 big bags, because what I do is we make them. While at Costco, also pick up some of their aluminum trays. It's the cheapest place you can get them. I think you get like 50 for like $10, $13. And I put my batches of mashed potatoes in there. Okay. A little recommendation for really luxurious mashed potatoes. After you're done making the mashed potatoes, I peel them, then I boil them, then I put them through a ricer or a food mill. At the very end, put just a little bit of butter on the top of it as you freeze it. And then pop them in the freezer. Then you have mashed potatoes for the Friendsgivings. Seriously, there's a senior Friendsgiving for my kids. There's a youth group Friendsgiving for my kids. There's church events. And sometimes I just want more mashed potatoes. And then I put those in the freezer. Okay. I make Brazilian cheese rolls every year because they're gluten-free. Maybe this year I might make some sourdough with it. Maybe. But these Brazilian cheese rolls year over year are always a hit. Everyone loves them, even if you're not gluten-free. They're ooey, they're gooey, they're tapioca and cheese with milk and butter. It's great. But they cook better from frozen. So what I do is I make up a batch of them and I freeze them flat on a sheet tray. Then I bag them up into meal size deals. And let's be honest, Thanksgiving, you don't need a ton of rolls per person. So we do a bag of 12 for when there was 6 of us. Now we do a bag of 12 and there's 5 of us living at home. So everyone gets at least 2 rolls. It's plenty. Like I said, they take about 20 minutes to cook. So, and they are best fresh. I will just say that, out of the oven. I love roasted Brussels sprouts. We don't do roasted Brussels sprouts on Thanksgiving. Why? Because then somebody's got to go in and trim Brussels sprouts for 20 minutes. And then you got to watch it and you got to flip them. So we don't do that. We do a simple like microwave broccoli. We might heat up some already pre-roasted sweet potatoes, but we don't do Brussels sprouts on Thanksgiving. We do it other days. Maybe we might do it one year, but so far we haven't, even though we all love Brussels sprouts. I know, sacrosanct. And I am super lazy, so I buy the boxed gravy at Trader Joe's. It's really good. It's really, really good. And I'll be honest, my husband doesn't like a fresh gravy from drippings, so that's the other part. So I just get the box, and then about 5 minutes before dinner, you just cut it open, you heat it up. On Thanksgiving, all I make is my bacon-wrapped turkey. Yes, and it is the star of the show. And I have some recipes. I'll include them down below. They're over on Nerd Family, so if you want to search bacon-wrapped turkey or Brazilian cheese rolls, or I make my pies ahead. I don't make the pies the day of. It always seems like common sense to me until you talk to somebody who's like, oh no, I'm making dessert day of. No. I'm making that pecan pie, and you can stick it in the fridge if you want. I'm making the apple pie the day before. Now, I make a chocolate pecan pie. That is the family tradition. We have to have a chocolate pecan pie. Now, when my kids were little, I just made one pie if it was all of us, because that's a lot. Now that everybody's adults and we have friends that come in and out, I make at least 2 pies. And my second pie, one, I'm kind to myself. I don't have a great pie crust recipe, so I buy pre-made base pie crust, and I make what's considered a Dutch apple pie. And really all that means is there's not a top crust on it. I put a streusel over it of, brown sugar and oats and stuff over the top of it. It means I don't have to futz with it as much. And then it's not quite as delicate either to store. So I make that the day before. And, I employ other people to help peel and slicing apples. You can also make a apple cake if you'd rather. We usually only do that. This year we might have more people come over for dessert, like they all go to their families and then come for dessert. And what I'll do is I will make my sourdough chocolate brownies the beginning of the week, cut them up, put them in a jar, and they will stay stable for a week. They are phenomenal. So you can, with a little bit of prep, really prep that out. But next you need to make your shopping list, and you need to be reasonable. I want that turkey to have plenty of time to sit in the outside fridge and chill out. So that means you can't be buying your turkey the day before. When are you going to get your turkey? When are you going to do all your shopping? Buy aluminum trays so you can throw things away. You can still put it in pretty servingware, but then you don't have to scrub anything that it was baked in. Of course, get your turkey roaster pan. And you don't need to get something to go in it. What you can actually do is make a snake of aluminum foil to put your turkey on. That's what I do. Make all these plans ahead of time. Have what I call, the TikTok, which is, when am I cooking this? What day am I cooking it? On Thanksgiving, what's happening with food prep? And I make that list. And I may not be the person to come in and do the next thing. I tend to prep the turkey and do that. I also tend to carve the turkey because we do not carve it on the table. We carve it in the kitchen and make my mess in there. But when are all those things happening? Just a little bit of planning means things will be so much more relaxed. Not prepping all the food means you don't have as many dishes to wash, And here's the other secret. Don't be on dish duty. Don't. If you cook dinner, if you plan dinner, even if you don't cook all the dinner, if you plan dinner, do not be on dish duty. That's what, children are for. Yeah, I said it. It's what children are for. And then the next day, have a plan for the next day, because you might be tired. And you might be doing some Black Friday shopping, at least online. We traditionally, on either the Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving, we always have turkey pot pies, which means I just put some turkey in there, some leftover gravy that I've thinned out with a little bit of water and heated up, or a little bit of stock. And then I put peas and carrots in them. And then I cheat. Be ready to cheat. This is why you have to plan ahead. I either will have pie crust or phyllo pastry to go on top of it. And I put them in ramekins. I don't make a big one. I put them in individual ramekins and I pop them in the oven, and they are delish. They are so good. It's a family favorite tradition in our household. But a little bit of planning, you know, do you need somebody to go get the paper for you on Thanksgiving? I know I do. That the husband knows all of it. They do it, and as kids started driving, the husband doesn't go do it anymore. Now it's which kid has to go get it. So, you know, just plan out your day and relax. It's about good food, good fun, good fellowship, and be thankful. Make sure you have time to be thankful. Hope this helps. There will be recipes down below. Watch everybody else's videos, and happy early Thanksgiving. Bye.